Randozos heading into picks and bans for game number 2 here. They will have the second pick overall, so Allegiance get the first pick, first ban one more time. And yeah, I got to agree. I think Randozos wind up having a troublesome single team fight that winds up losing the game, right? I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with their approach to the game or whatnot, but Giannis scares me. Like you said, if you take out Giannis, you have all these other options, but Giannis is something unique, right? The Kumbhakarna comes into play, you ban him out, you get replaced with a Vulcan, who cares? They do the same thing. No god does what Giannis does. And a lot of what happened in game number 1 was thanks to what Giannis does. Whether it's escape or aggression, those portals were very important. So, I don't know if I'd ban Giannis, but I'm certainly looking at him a little bit stronger this time around.
We saw him being able to go past a mid gank into the red buff side of Randozos and then just casually use his ulti back down south, baiting so many abilities and cooldowns. And that's pretty annoying on the side of Randozos. They also had to worry about more mobility between Weak and Susano, Cope on the Amaterasu. Overall, just great picks and bans from Allegiance the first game.
Randozos don't trust that Allegiance are going to first pick anything besides Randozos aren't convinced that Terra won't be picked here by Allegiance, so they ban her out, leaving Susano the choice one more time, likely for Weaken.
It's going to be the Bacchus this time around for Wubbn. It has a similar playstyle where you really have to respect initiation from the Bacchus, though Terra has safer because you don't have to commit with your physical character. So the Bacchus belly flop, this could synergize pretty well off of this Chronos stun, especially if they can find a need for Randozos.
Already liking the composition out of the Dozos. Allegiance, on the other hand, where do they go with the Susano? A number of gods pair well with Susano. In fact, he works well with pretty much anybody. Nobody you really stick anything specific to. I like him best with, I think, mages that don't necessarily need a large ton of burst. And I like him with characters that he can also help peel for. The Freya and the Kumbhakarna. Already Freya next to Susano and Kumba in that long lane. Already a little bit safer than some of the Freyas we've seen in our pro season. So
this is the 2 picks from Allegiance is to try to counter this Chronos, because you know that Kumbhakarna's Mez slows attack speed, and on top of that, Freya on Venenu, he's probably going to build into Witchblade despite being against a Magical Hunter anyway, just to reduce the attack speed probably out of the Chronos.
And that's something we've seen a number of times, the Witchblade really coming to fruition against a lot of players. And Randozos going to ban out the Kumbhakarna. Straight ban of the Kumbhakarna. I don't know if that's necessarily warranted.
Well, against the Kumbhakarna that has a Mez, a knockup,
a lot of setup,
a root, the 3 setups, that makes it very difficult to try to survive against this Kukulkan.
That's very true. When you've got as much setup as the Kumba, not just the Kumba, but also the Susano, right? Just a ton of opportunity for Kukulkan to really do whatever it is he wants to do. Thor banned out as well, just a good old-fashioned standard ban. And there's the Giannis ban as well, that I was curious about if Randozos would bring it. And I like this ban. I wouldn't have wanted to see them ban it number 1 and number 2, but all right, we made it halfway through the pick phase. Look, Giannis was maybe not too much, but just really difficult for us to deal with. So just take it off the board.
Especially with Susano, with Weaken playing it, you're going to find the flanks that he really likes to do. The Giannis makes it that much easier. And this time around, Randozos are the one to pick up the Amaterasu, preventing Cope from having I like the style. They saw that the mobility was too big of a factor that first game around, which probably limited the positioning that Randozos wanted to do. They couldn't overcommit in any single lane.
Instead, he'll be going up against Ravana, character that has a very good early game. So again, we'll see how Cope deals with this situation. Now on the other side of things, before the Amaterasu into the Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong clearly has the upper hand there early on in the game. Ravana versus Amaterasu, I think Ravana clearly has the early upper hand. And this time Cope will have that at his disposal.
Especially with Weaken, like we mentioned before, we saw him find the counter gank or to alleviate the pressure from Cope right off the bat, which allowed him to get that solo kill, I would say, because that level 5 play from Cope was really impressive. And unfortunately, after the invade, they found the return kill from Randozos. So this is why these teams are just so even. All it's going to take is one team fight around the 30-minute mark or so to blow the game wide open for one of them.
Very quickly, we'll see this one explode. And again, we've got Mirage on the Nemesis. Nemesis makes it all the way to last pick.
I was about to mention that last pick Nemesis. Oh, funny how times have changed.
And it's interesting because I don't, like, times haven't changed. I think you still see the first pick Nemesis very frequently. I think you'll still continue to see that. It's in this particular game, certain things are a little bit more valuable, right? I mean, MLC Stealth playing the Nuwa, that's going to be selected. You've got Freya, Venenu, that's going to be selected. I love to see the shakeup here. Randozos versus Allegiance, game number 2.
I expect a lot of winged blades out of Allegiance trying to deal with this Nemesis. Mirage, he's known to play aggressive, like we mentioned before, against Envious. He was able to find the tower dives. It wasn't successful in past couple games to find the same aggressiveness, but he's still been making the plays.
I mean, we saw a little bit of aggression in game number 1, but I'm with you. I want to see even more so. Keep diving the towers. Go really deep. It worked out for you in your debut. No reason to yank it on back. Randozos certainly want to find some wins here.
Neither team electing to go for the Hog at the start. Looking at the Guardians, a different style between having Incon with the Curse, whereas a nice counter by Wubbn having the Heavenly Agility.
So Allegiance now making their way to the lane. You know, this is one of those matches that I would love to see how players marked it on their season ticket. I think this is a closer matchup that I think a lot of people give it credit for.
Absolutely. Based on the rosters, you have to respect everybody mechanically. It's all about who makes the better shot calling, who can take advantage of one little misstep, one little misposition. And we saw really great pulls the last game out of a weekend, and this is why they've been prioritizing the Susano for him. He's just not afraid to make those offensive plays to set up his team.
I mean, you never really have to tell Weekend go deep twice. He certainly wants to be aggressive, and you're going to see that. Absolutely.
In mid lane, just gonna try to look for maybe something, but instead electing played very safe. Bottom right Harpies are available for Allegiance. Meanwhile, Whalrus getting bullied out by the bully Ravana, able to outclear him, however, so gonna find some Archer poke in exchange.
And that'll bring Cope down to about half, but still nothing that either of these solo laners are too concerned about.
It's all about just, you know, looking very angrily at your opponent sometimes, and then you could deny him that 18 gold. And right there, Weekend is going to find the gank. The dash is down. He doesn't have that much mobility from his aura. That's going to be first blood.
That's it. Weekend shows up as soon as the dash goes down. I mean, it's all connected. There's a dash there. There's a dash on Agni. There are a couple other characters that once that dash goes down, the air raid siren goes on, and everybody pays attention. And Amaterasu without the dash, totally toasted.
And nice little bait from Weekend. He thought he was about to get turned on, jet streaming away, and this is the playstyle you have to recognize. Venenu gonna get stunned out, forced to use the purification. Gonna give another opportunity potentially, this time for Mirage to find the gank on left.
Yeah, Mirage really needs to find something going. He's got the ultimate available.
He's level 5 compared to Weekend that is level 4 despite him finding the first blood, but that's going to set up the solo lane moswal, getting the poke, getting poked out, forced to go into his own base just to get topped off. This gives a little bit of a power play for Allegiance.
And this is the play that Weekend wants to play on this Susano. Just be in the enemy jungle all the time. Just be aggressive, be obnoxious, be annoying. More importantly, be somebody that the opponent can't put their thumb underneath.
And Whalrus, respecting the fact that there could be a rotation, Incon finding the knockup. Level 5 on Wowy is not available. No rewind, but getting poked out is the key for Allegiance.
Still Wowy in some trouble. Can't find the kill as Incon. The ultimate, will it be enough? Oh, certainly won't. So just barely hanging on.
Just gonna have enough sustain to deal with that between his potion and accelerate running at the first tick. Having the extra HP 5 is so crucial to try to survive, even against the level 1 new ultimate.
Just barely. I thought he was going to get it totally.
I thought so too. I also thought that Allegiance was going to decide to play aggressive in the solo lane because of the fact that Cope having that, you know, early kill onto Whalrus, Weekend just now hitting level 6, could have looked for something, but now with speed buff and Weekend, he's going to be aggressive now.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Cope on the Ravana, is a character that wants to be aggressive. It was born to be aggressive, so certainly Randozos maybe looking for one more opportunity here in the solo lane before they really spin it and try to grab objectives and steals, etc.
Trying to find the red buff is Allegiance, but waiting for the mid wave and waiting for Weaken before wanting to commit to it. Looks like left-hand side, Freya might be caught out of position.
Just a little bit. Stunned is going to be counteracted with the ultimate, but as soon as she lands, that will be the real trouble. Bounce on the belly flop. There's the ultimate out of the Chronos, and that'll push her safely away. Can't say the same for Wubbn. P.S. Here comes the support. Incon coming along the way, finds the route onto Wubbn, knocks him in the sky. That'll do it. Incon puts number 3 on the board for Allegiance.
It was all about the counter engage from Weaken, finding the Typhoon, forced the rewind from Wowy, which didn't have enough confirmed damage to find Venenu. Both his ultimate and purification was down, which is why the belly flop was committed by Wubbn. And without having that belly flop, he was an easy target.
Just totally taking down Cope. Answers ultimate with ultimate, but here comes a third. Nemesis coming on through, cuts down Mirage.
And now Weaken just picking up the Fire Giant Elementals. He's going to be able to cover the wave in solo lane. It's very important whenever your solo laner dies to not lose that precious golden experience.
Not going to lose it this time. 5 minutes already. And Randozos trying to recover from their first game loss. Not looking too strong here, though. Allegiance with a very quick 1,000 gold lead.
It depends on what they do off of this 1,000 gold lead or so. The experience, not too much in the favor of Allegiance. There's still some playmaking opportunities for Randozos, as we clearly saw the tower dive in the solo lane in level 8 on Mirage. Weaken still level 7.
And that's really where Randozos have to capitalize. They realize that their jungle is about half a level ahead, and really want to make the plays. With Weaken down a little bit, how can Randozos punish him?
It's all about look at the red buff. It's still available for Allegiance. They haven't been able to do this because of the fact that there was so much pressure onto Venenu that forced Weaken's hand, and now just hitting level 8. Stealth, however, has been getting the better end of it. He is level 9, whereas moswal is still level 8.
And that's really a product of the jungler. Kind of Weaken's a little bit low on the farm because he's out there trying to make these plays. He's out there trying to bring home the bacon. He's not really able to make it go down. But because of that, he's by himself. And MLC Self doing the same, gets a little bit of a solo farm in the mid lane.
Still a lot of wards in the Fire Giant side from Allegiance, similar to the first game, wanting to see where Mirage is ping-ponging to. And this time around, Randozos, they're expecting aggression in the solo lane, so they're having Mirage and Wubbn rotate.
Yeah, Cope just gonna hang out back on the tower. Don't want to tempt fate too much.
Gets spotted out by a nice little ward, still walking into position, gonna get knocked up, instantly ulted, forced to use the purification, an aggressive play from moswal.
And there's the ultimate out of the Raijin as well. Everybody on top of him, very low. And the crush and everything else coming on top. Cope able to make it happen. moswal falling down.
Just overcommitment using that Thunder Crash. Really wanted to find the kill onto Weaken, but you have to respect his mobility. He still had the jet stream available and too much mobility to confirm the damage from moswal's ult.
And on the other side of things, when Raijin goes to the ultimate, you've got to act on the immobility of that ultimate. moswal goes into the drums of war, and there's nowhere for him to go. He's moving at, what, 25% movement speed, just very slow. All of a sudden, everything piles in onto him, and down goes the mid lane.
Sometimes you have to be careful about the overcommitment side. Now, they forced out the early purification. Weaken had to retreat under the tier 1 tower. That gave enough positioning for Randozos to aggress onto the speed buff once they reset and wait for their additional cooldowns. Nice try by Incon, utilizing that cloud for a sneaky play,
I like it.
But a little bit off the mark. Could have probably set it up easier just for a yawn and then the dash, but Venenu trading out poke. Here comes Weaken.
What is a 1v1? This is the Pro League. It's now a 3-on-1. Wowy surrounded, and Wowy just gonna get smoked. Weaken puts number 4 online for his team. He's been a part of 100% of these engagements.
And Wowy with Doomorb doesn't have much mobility, just now picking up the tier 2 boots, which is what allowed him to get caught out of position by this speed buff on Susano.
Yeah, and again, that's the bigger change, I think, when you come to the SPL, is that there's never a single 1v1 fight. Anytime you see those hunters dueling, which is, hunters and solo are usually the only 2 people you're going to be seeing dueling, there's always somebody coming on the rotation in the middle of that team fight. Never count on privacy.
Especially with magical hunters in the duel, that progress so well once they're in the mid to late game, so you have to try to shut them down earlier on. We saw the gank attempt onto Venenu earlier on, which baited enough time for Weekend to make the rotation, but this time finding a kill onto Wowy.
Nice pull. The dashes are going to be stopped. There's the purification out of Mirage. He'll use it, and that should be it. Incon's going to get the kill onto that player. Jumping forward is going to be Cope onto moswal. Again, low mobility on the Raijin. But Whalrus able to zone out the rest of the players on Allegiance.
Incon had to back. He had no mana after finding the nice epic uppercut kill. Wowy grabbing his own red buff, but Venenu doing a nice rotation, clearing up the mid wave, giving him an extra level advantage over Wowy.
And really, it's up to where is he going to use that level advantage. Where can we see that really come out and come to play?
It's going to be once the Fatalis, which is completed for Venenu. He could be looking for the play, especially without Boots 3 onto Wowy. Not having the penetration with Shoes of the Magi or Shoes of the Focus cooldowns allows Venenu to just keep being aggressive.
And that's exactly what he's going to keep on doing. So he's going to do the same thing as well. But Venenu retreating back into the jungle.
Now with a 2-level lead, not having Boars on his side, he's still going to be waiting for that right opportunity. The warding, he has a nice sentry ward behind the Gold Fury, as well as a nice little ward on the top left side.
There's the aggression one more time. Rewind answered. Valkyrie's discretion. Wonderful Chronos play coming out of Wowy today.
Although the cooldown from Venenu, it's going to benefit him. Wowy's is a little bit longer, so finding the reset off of this, as well as sharing the experience for Wowy still hurts him. Still struggling in the level department.
10 minutes in here. Randozos trying to figure out their next big play. Allegiance has made some good plays in the early game. And Randozos still very much in position to respond. But this is the problem, totally. We're seeing this happen too many times. One player, not even, I wouldn't call Wubbn out of position there. Just Weekend able to force him to be out of position with the grabs. Randozos need to find a spot where they can just absolutely 100% win the team fight. Once they're able to find and basically make these plays on the opposition, they need to catch up to Weekend.
It's all about the poke. Gonna get chased down and aggressive. He doesn't have any more cooldowns, but he has the mobility. The last hit from moswal finds it, and now Incon, he's looking to try to find something in return. Nobody quite there, so nice play from Randozos. There is no buffs for them to strip off of this. Gold Fury is up, but without a Wrath, you have to respect the ability to even for a 4v5 from Allegiance.
So Randozos made the play that they needed to make. They needed to find that one pick-off instead of getting picked off themselves. But now, with that pick-off, they have to find something else. What are Randozos looking for here, Anatoly?
They're looking maybe for another pick. They have a nice sentry ward on the bottom right. If Stealth walks over that side, could get another nice knockoff from Wubbn, but electing to go back for their own back rights, look for the power spikes because of all their golden hand.
So that's where our players are going to be at next. For now, just the back Harpies. Randozos biding their time.
Just
What if
waiting.
they're biding their time? You know, if there was a Fenrir, I'd make a joke about it. Biting Chronos. Biding their time.
I see what we did there.
We'll have to do that next time around. But for now, Randozos really just biding their time. Trying to figure out where they can find another pick. But again, it's the other way around. Wowy gets the rewind off. But he'll be safe. Good play. But too many times, Weekend just gets what he wants.
There's no wards to spot him rotating, and Weekend, this is something that he's known to do. He ganks once, it didn't work. He's a little poked out and low, but he's still going to wait around the jungle side because he's expecting for Wowy just to be able to clear the wave.
And what happens, you know, when Wowy opts not to do that? When Wowy plays a little bit safer?
Then he's just going to be wasting time. And that's something that sometimes can hurt a jungler when they're wasting too much time. But without any buffs, really, realistically for Weekend to do, it's not a bad idea to commit the potential kill. Without a rewind, this makes it so much easier to kill Wowy.
I mean, that's what you're seeing right here. Aggression on the left side. Allegiance going for it. Wowy in trouble. No ultimate for Wowy. Keep that in mind. Venenu uses his own. Takes down the Hunter.
And he was level 12, but he didn't have time for the second relic. Stealth forced to go into the sky.
Mirage just barely gets lifted. He'll be in some trouble as well. Turnaround hit. And there's the jump over the wall from Cope. Looking for more damage. And the dash stopped and Incon puts him down.
Great mez on the backhand side, though. Whalrus rotating, but he doesn't have much mana. Venenu, he's not a tower killer. He's only a player killer, so he has to go back. Gold Fury, more than likely this time around, gonna get started by Allegiance.
And they've got the power. They've got the power to take it. They've got some of the players to keep the opposition off the objective as well. well. Wubbn just taken down. moswal, the ultimate, gonna get punished. Cope able to take him out. Allegiance with three times the amount of kills the Randozos have been able to amass as they march number 9 into their book. Whalrus gonna be zoned out, zoned hard. He takes a bunch of damage down to about 25%. And the gold Fury is gone. Allegiance able to take that one to the bank, and that'll put them up ahead about 4,000 gold.
This is the first real lead for either team, I would say, up until the 30-minute mark the last game, when Allegiance was able to win that one little team fight in the mid lane. And now with this lead, Allegiance is pretty comfortable with keeping the plays going. Despite Weeknd making all these plays, though, he is 2 levels behind Mirage, surprisingly.
And that's what I was gonna get into. We brought it up before about how sometimes when you're trying to make these plays, you're relinquishing a little bit of farm, and hooray for MLC Stealth. We pointed it out, gave MLC a little bit of a lead, but you see this a lot with Weeknd, not just in this game, where he winds up putting himself behind because he's trying to make these plays overall. In this situation, I don't care. My Susano is down 2 levels, but the team is ahead 4K. That, I think, is Weeknd's perfect scenario. That's where Weeknd wants to be. So we're not going to attack this play just yet, but Allegiance, if they find a situation where they're down and their jungler is down, you got to start looking at why.
That's going to be a missed opportunity for Incon, unfortunately, and now he's in his passive. A nice knock-up, going to find Mirage.
Gets the kill. I'm sitting here shaking my head at Incon thinking too deep, too far, but Weeknd, again, able to make the play that enables his team to come out on top.
It's all about the tactical feeding. Kumbhakarna still having his passive. Mirage, Wowy getting a nice knock-up, setting up Whalrus, but no stun.
Whalrus now here, gets hit by a couple. Incon low, no passive in tow. 5 players here with Allegiance on their chest, coming down the mid tower. Tier 1 being aggressed on. Venenu in the sky. MLC puts Wowy in the dirt. Now, Tier 1 tower still being aggressed on. Not enough damage just yet. Slowly but surely ticking it away is Allegiance.
And at the same time, finding the red buff for Weak and being able to come back instantly with the levels. Now you're winning the team fights, that's all fine and dandy, and once the levels become higher and higher is when you're going to be reaping in more rewards, and that's why once Wowy died, the tier 1 mid, finding the red buff, now we can tie the levels with Mirage.
Exactly, looking for the bigger plays, and what I was getting at before was that we can, as long as the team is winning, I don't think Weeknd even minds that he's down the 2 levels, because he's not looking for these. The jungle matchup is always the interesting one. We always say hunters are here and here, separated by half a level, right? The jungle matchup is the one that's not going to go directly against each other. Every once in a while, the junglers will sort of duke it out over fire elementals or mid-harpies early on. But Weeknd is not looking for the 1v1 versus Mirage. He's looking to set up his team into killing whoever jumps on Incon. And as we say that, Weeknd 1v1 versus Mirage in the jungle.
Gonna find the knock up. The Typhoon is not gonna connect. The hair time too long. moswal finding the kill, still going in. Whalrus though getting dropped by Venenu with a nice rotation.
And here comes Cope out of the right side. Wubbn and moswal in trouble. MLC is able to take out moswal, a good knockup. Able to keep a couple of other players at bay. But here comes Wowy, full HP and ready to fight. There goes the stun. Not gonna find anybody. And MLC stealth with the ult is good.
Cope having to back off, but he does have teleport. Wowy coming from the rewind, forcing the double relics from Venenu without the Valkyrie's discretion. He's going to continue to kite.
And still giving out the damage is Venenu. Wubbn low as well. In fact, he's dead. Venenu cleaning that one up, and Cope gonna do the same to Wowy. Stunned, and he could turn around here. Nice kick. And Cope is fine.
Finding the sustain off of the wave. Only going to be met with Mirage, though, on the back. He should be potentially getting chased down. Allegiance, they have to sacrifice his life. Without an ultimate, without the overhead kick, though, Mirage should be eventually able to chase this down.
Nice meditation. Saves Cope for the moment. But, again, there's a slow on the Nemesis. Use the ultimate. Worth noting. So, a little bit of a win there for Cope, as he's finally taken down by Whalrus. Tier 1 tower on the right-hand side goes the way of Allegiance. And they're able to find 500 more gold, leading by 7K.
There's a 40-second cooldown for Cope to come back alive, so Randozos, they have to be grouped here. Wowy is about to respawn right now. Gold Fury is about to respawn in 30 seconds, and without that teleport from Cope, that gives a slight window.
Man, how often do junglers 1v1 in the jungle?
like almost never. Past level 2 and 3, almost never.
I'm like, I am so just Weekend and Mirage wind up fighting the 1v1. The one time I say that that's not going to be what they're looking for.
It's the caster's curse, man. Golfier about to respawn, but at this time it's Allegiance that's grouped up. Cope respawning without the teleport. They're looking for Wowy. He doesn't have the purification or rewind. Venenu 4 levels ahead with speed buff. He can find this so easily.
Oh, yeah. That's, misses the banish.
It was the accelerate with the addition of Wingblade. Just too fast, even with the speed buff on Freya with Fatalis.
Yeah, Venenu not going to make that one happen. Now collapsing onto one player. That's the stun very quickly. Mirage is taken down very, very quickly.
No purification to escape from that one. Just unfortunate, mistimed rotation towards that Golfier. And now this time it's Allegiance with a power play. They're going to force the Golfier Randozos. They can't really contest. The magical damage between Venenu and Stealth is just going to shred everybody.
Yeah, Incon's doing a little bit of zoning, but Randozos know what's happening. They don't want any part of it. Goldfear go down to Allegiance, now leading by 8,000 gold. And Allegiance going to push up on the left-hand side.
Grouping up on the right, though, Whalrus looking for something in return. He's going to try to get this tier 2 tower, but Cope is going to make the rotation eventually. And I like this decision to have this 3-man grouping for Allegiance. They have to utilize the Nuwa Clay Golems to eliminate the backdoor protections, but once spotting out Wubbn and moswal, not having weakened there quite yet, it's going to delay things.
Going to delay pretty much the whole push. You can see Allegiance want to make this shove on the left side, but they're waiting for the team call. And now the team call is retreat. Allegiance will head right on back to base.
They're still looking for more plays, though. Venenu going to get jumped on by Whalrus. His ultimate could be used, but without any other rotations, feeling very confident.
Knock up on the Whalrus again, but there's the Nemesis ultimate onto Venenu. Randozos have the numbers here. Sprint is popped, and everybody looking towards Freya. The dive is out, and here comes the support. Randozos turn around. They don't want to go too deep, but still looking for the fight. Incon knocks one up. MLC knocks one down. 17 kills in total. Make that 18. Thanks to Venenu coming right on back to the fight.
moswal yet again using the Thunder Crash aggressively. Nowhere for him to go. Wowy died with rewind, and immediately Allegiance heading over to the Fire Giant. Weekend had no mana in that fight, so essentially it was a 5-on-4, but it was a great bait from Venenu. He still had his double relics, and that baited all of Randozos to commit too hard during that tier 2 tower.
The Sanctuary was the most important sound that I heard during that team fight coming out from Venenu. Just immediately just hitting it, making sure that nobody else could really follow him underneath the tower. You saw Randozos, 3 players went into the tower and then had to retreat. Very important play. Whalrus can't make it here, and the Fire Giant goes to Allegiance.
And his dash is down, so this could be another kill. Forced to use the ultimate. Venenu without any relics, doesn't want to get poked out too heavily. Forced to belly flop away is Wubbn, and now Allegiance with Fire Giant trying to look for more plays.
And where do they look now? You can see there's a tower in each lane. So pretty much pick of the litter, right side, or left side rather, tends to be the more aggressive side. It's the furthest away from Fire Giant, one of the harder ones to defend in the event of a Fire Giant respawning. So Allegiance could group up there. Is there an option for any other lane?
I would rather go to the left side, more importantly. As long as you have wards around Fire Giant side, like they still do with those sentries, they can spot out their rotations if there's a split push potential, and all you have to do is stay grouped. Whenever you're in a winning position, like Allegiance is right now, the worst thing you could do is isolate yourselves and get picked off. So their team fight is vastly superior to Randozos. There's no reason for them to not force them.
Well, Allegiance not taking that note. They're going to spread out a little bit. Weekend is his job to push up on the left side. Then you'll see Cope. It's his job to push up on the right side. Now, there is method to the madness, not just splitting up for no reason. This will push all the minions up to the tower. So once Allegiance are able to make the play onto whatever lane they feel fit, they're able to shift across the way as well if they don't want to go for the Phoenix.
And now still being grouped up. They want to force out some important cooldowns. Without Wubbn here during this tier 2 tower siege, these golems should make this things a lot easier for Allegiance. Right-hand side, though, Whalrus still looking for the split push.
Whalrus is going to back here, but hey, Allegiance get 2 towers, for the price of 1. Weekend with a split push on the left-hand side. The 4 players now shifting over to right. Allegiance have now split up 4-on-1. All towers are dead. All Phoenixes are up. Weaken by himself on the left, being chased by Mirage, but now the numbers advantage in Weaken's favor. He's 3 levels up.
He just wants to look for the poke. This is not even a kill opportunity because the rest of Allegiance is coming to cut off the rotation from Mirage. A nice move forcing the purification.
And there's Cope on the backside trying to get the stuns out. Venenu gets stunned out by Whalrus right into the ultimate, and Wowy going to use the rewind immediately.
And Fire Giant regen should allow Venenu to top himself off stealth with the golems yet again, making it so much easier to get this Phoenix.
And now the aggression onto the Phoenix, falling down. Right.
Midside Phoenix fell down before the left. There was that split push because of how much pressure that Weaken did onto Mirage. It just completely isolated everybody.
And all of Randozos were set up here to play defense on the left side, which is why we see these Phoenix still standing. Meditation popped, and that'll send Allegiance right on back in. Whalrus is gone. Cope gets number 20 for the team. Wowy in some trouble as well. Bouncing is Wubbn, but he surrounds himself with the enemy team. Phoenix still hanging on by a hinge, and damage going out the other way. Weaken takes out Wowy. Cope zoning the rest of the other players, and down goes the Phoenix. 1 remains. It's on the right.
You can just tell how Allegiance is so comfortable playing with each other. The way they are making these plays, whether or not it's Weaken baiting, whether or not it's the rest of his team split pushing in mid while there's a 3-on-5 going on left. Randozos, they recognize like they're too far behind at this point. They're 17,000 gold. They just lost 2 Phoenixes. They're not coming back from that one.
Exactly. Really tough to respond. We have seen it this season. But not going to happen today. Randozos dropped 2 in a row to their opposition, and Allegiance earned themselves 3 extra points. That'll certainly shake up the way our standings look like at the moment. But a very good job overall coming out from Allegiance.
Ever since the first blood, that second game from Weaken, he's just been making plays non-stop. And this is the comfortability for Allegiance first picking the Susano for him. They didn't care about Nemesis either game. We even saw Nemesis the last pick.
There you go. Team Allegiance with their 3 points on the left-hand side. Randozos, unfortunately, still yet to find one this week. We'll see how they do on Sunday. But that'll change things up, like we said. Allegiance earning 3 points. Big deal for them today. And again, coming down to Nemesis being a non-factor and the last selection.
Yeah, and it's a nice performance, I would say, from Allegiance against Randozos. That, like we mentioned, is a newer team. Next time around, they're going to be against Soar, though.
Which certainly a different story for a different match. Very crazy stuff coming out. Denial versus Luminosity is going to be our next one. This is a big statement game.
Oh, yeah.
I think both of these teams were expected to do, both of these teams were expected to be average, Anatoly, and I think both these teams have exceeded expectations without a doubt.
Absolutely. They've just been playing lights out in every single one of their sets.
When you look at this Denial, they are most recently off to a tear, number 1, as you can see on the standings. How do you fare Luminosity going into the Orange Dogs?
I think it's going to be all about the duel lane between Jeff and Barra against Vedium and Shadowq. It's going to be interesting to see if Denial are going to do something aggressive early on, or if they're going to play more of the waiting, passive farming game.
We'll take a look at that one coming to you in just a few. We'll end our day with Denial, Luminosity, and then Soar versus Enemy. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more SPL.
Take a deeper breath and give the time. You can walk the path among the lines. Always know that you'll be safe. I'll be here throughout your days. Come find me and we will